Dave knows how.
Okay, so this is just going to show you what happens when you don't service these clutches. Now, right now what I'm doing is the friction pad is actually seized up to the clutch, and I'm trying to gently get that thing off without breaking it. And I'm going to show you a picture of the other side of the disc on this thing, and you can actually see that the disc is pitted um, from rust. And when it rusts together like that, I don't care how loose you loosen this thing up, it will not spin. I mean, look at the rust on that disc. I mean, basically, this thing was rusted and seized completely together. So even loosening up the springs, this thing would not spin. So to think that you don't need to loosen it up and spin the clutch, that it will eventually spin. Eh, wrong answer. Um, you definitely need to try to spin it, and if it doesn't spin, you need to disassemble.
Okay, so I decided to go ahead and chuck this one plate up in the lathe just to see how it's going to cut. And as you can see, I took a skim cut. I'm still pretty rough over here on this side. And let's see, move that out of the way. And then when we rotate it around, we're almost clean right here. So it's flat up in there. It's flat up on there, and I did put an indicator on here, and it was reading that it was within 5 thousandths, less than 5 thousandths square on, up against the flat of this chuck. How square is the chuck? Shit, who knows? And I didn't clean it off, so it could be some dirt in there or something. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take another cut, and so we're going to run it on in. We're cutting coming out, and we're gonna use the compound to run it in. So we're just gonna go in. We're kind of on an angle, so we're more than 29 degrees because it was on 29 degrees, and I moved it a little bit further than that. I don't remember. I didn't really look to see what I set it on. It looks like it's on 38 degrees roughly. So when we run this in 5 thousandths, we're really not cutting 5 thousandths. So we're going to go ahead and run this in. Well, we're going to take up the slack, and then we're going to run it in 5 thousandths. Okay, and we're going to see where that's at. Go ahead and pull it back and see if we do start cutting. We are doing a skim cut. We've got the carriage locked down, so it's can't move around that way. And we're just going to go ahead and take a slight cut. So basically I just turned it till I took up the slack, and then I turned it about 5 thousandths, and it's, because it's on an angle, it's probably taking about 2 thousandths off. I'd say that's pretty daggone good right there. Yep. I'd say that's pretty daggone good. Let's see. Let's see if we can pull him on off of here, and we'll take a look at it. Look, wrong way. Alright, let's see. Get him cleaned up a little bit. Alright, and there you go. That's how it's supposed to look. That's how it's supposed to look. Okay. So, I always wondered if it would hurt to put grease on this thing before you put it back together. When I put it together last time, I put anti-seize on it, But I put the anti-seize around the outer edge, thinking it would keep keep moisture from getting in there. But obviously, wrong answer. That didn't work. So and I'm wondering if it would hurt to grease this thing before you put it together, or if you should just put it together dry. I don't know. Hard to say. Anyway, I might pull one of them other parts off and chuck it up in here and turn it down too. And this was the tough part to get. The front side of this won't nothing, but the back side of this was a pain in the butt to figure out because I didn't quite have enough clearance. And on this lathe, this is where this lantern tool post comes in handy, because this quick change tool post, I couldn't get there. But with this lantern post, I am going to barely make it to this shoulder right there. And you can see that shoulder lighting up in there. And that's how far I got to go. And I just don't, I just didn't have enough travel on the cross slide to come all the way out to the end. And honestly, I'm barely at it now. So I'm gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna try to feed it. This was iffy maneuver right here, and if I hadn't had this lantern style tool post holder, I wouldn't have been able to get this. And you'll see in a minute, I'm going to run out of travel right at the very end. Yeah, that's it. That's as far as it'll go. And as you can see, I'm right at the end. It's still cranking, but she ain't moving. Okay, so you can see the back side, and one of the things that I wanted to show was this side I cut with carbide, okay? And you can see the difference between cutting with carbide and this side, which I cut with high-speed steel. And there is a difference to the finish, and it kind of looks like it is showing up. But this side that I did with the carbide, the finish is a lot more consistent. This is where I ran the tool back out. I didn't have enough travel to get the tool back off of there. I just was running out of travel everywhere I turned. I was probably to the max with, trying to do the back side of this thing on this small lathe. But anyway, that ain't gonna hurt it. You can definitely tell the difference in the finish. Much better finish with the carbide on this side over here, as opposed to high-speed steel we used over here on this side. Okay, so I did end up having to loosen up just a little bit more, but we'll roll this thing around till we get to that mark. Okay, here's the mark in the steel, the reference mark in the steel, and you can see the white paint down in there. And then if we rotate this around, see the white paint on the center disc. So it did turn over, and that's what they're talking about, when they say to spin the clutch. When they tell you that you need to spin the clutch once, twice a year to make sure the clutch is functioning properly, that's what they're talking about. loosen up these right here. I probably ended up loosening those about a turn and a half each one, and then I just left the thing at idle and dropped the clutch on the tractor to engage the PTO, or if you have automatic PTO engagement where you don't have to push the clutch in, just hit the button, let it engage, hit the RPMs up just a little bit. I didn't go all the way up to 540, I just went up a little ways, backed it back down, turned the PTO off, let this thing come to a complete stop, pull the cover back off out of the way, and I can see that the disc did turn inside. So now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to tighten these back up to the proper setting. We'll get the calipers over here and we'll put it back at 1 inch 7/8, and which is 1 inch 875 thousandths to the bottom of that thing off the back of this plate. So we're going to reset all that, and then we'll go ahead and get the cover and put the cover back on. And other than greasing the universal joints, which this universal joint right here I ended up having to replace it because I destroyed it taking it off. I didn't really destroy it, but it fell out, and needle bearings, a couple of the needle bearings fell out of it. And, you know, when you lose them needle bearings, it ain't much, you know, you really can't find them that easy. So had to buy a whole new one. $36. Wow, that's kind of pricey, but hey, it is what it is. I'm thinking about selling this bush hog anyway, actually, and getting a smaller one. I don't know. I ain't made up my mind yet. But for right now, I got to get through this bush hog job that I got going. So that's it in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.